Battle decks are 60-card constructed decks, pre-constructed decks. We say that they are brewed for fun because that is the main point of them. My name is Justin TREADWAY, and I'm the lead graphic designer, and I work in the marketing department. A little over a year ago, myself and a former employee, Jordan Short, we came up with the Battle deck idea. It was a way to use cards that we don't usually get to see a lot of. We have so many Magic cards here, and everyone knows the big ones, but we have tons of fun ones that never see the light of day. And Jordan and I are big limited players, so we really wanted to build decks around fun archetypes that we remember from the past, and also getting to use just fun build-around-me cards that are never going to be good enough to be in Standard, but are super fun for casual kitchen table games.
My name is Chris VANMETER, and officially I am the online purchasing and products manager. So I came onto the scene primarily helping out with the logistic portion of it as part of my job duties, but I also have played Magic professionally. They tapped my resources for designing the decks, and now it's Justin and I doing it all.
When I was younger, I remember that being the most fun part about Magic for me, was building around the fun, crazy card that wasn't good enough to be at a tournament, but man, piloting that deck is just a blast. So sometimes it's like you see a new card you want to build around, and other times, Chris does a lot of inventory. It's like, man, I just discovered, 400 King Makars. And it's like, oh man, we can build a fun deck around that.
Yeah, a lot of it comes down to trying to identify the different strategies that are fun and appeal to the crowd that these decks are designed for, which isn't like your hardened tournament player that's going to travel 100 miles to play in a tournament. This is something that people just want to sit down and battle with. So something like the mill decks are very fun, burn decks, things from draft archetypes in the past, like spider spawning. But I'm finding the more and more that we work on these decks and design them, we will find pieces of a deck, try it out, and it doesn't quite work. And then spoiler season happens, and we see a card, and we're like, yeah, that's the card we need. Piece. That's it. Now we can actually make this deck. Or we'll see something that's like a functional reprint, or like there's a new card in Amonkhet that's very similar to Krosan Tusker, which is a card that we've wanted to have in battle decks for a long time, but it's a really popular commander card, and we don't have a whole bunch of them. But now there's a reprint that's going to go right into a battle deck. A
spoiler gets shown, and I quickly run over to Chris's desk, and I'm like, oh, did you see this card? It's going to be a great build-around-me card. Or, last month we finally built a vehicle deck. We got to combine two not great limited mechanics, Inspire and Crew, and man, is that a fun combination.
I think my favorite deck is Untamed Energy, just the green-red energy aggro deck, but it still is able to just beat the crud out of the opponent.
I probably like Brutal Truth. You just play a bunch of instants and sorceries, make a bunch of clues, and then you tap your clues using Girapur Aether Grid to burn your opponent out, and that's all it does. It's all instants and sorceries other than the two enchantments, and it's just really fun. It makes you feel like you're playing powerful legacy Magic with just a casual kitchen table deck, and it's super fun to combine like clues from one block with the Aether Grid from an artifact block, and that's what makes me feel like I'm a kid again with Magic. Like, it's just like those weird combinations where it's like, oh, clues are artifacts. This thing taps artifacts. I'm a genius. Mm-hmm. It's like, yeah.
And we really get to explore cool things like that with these battle decks. First off, there isn't like a set restriction, so we don't have to abide by like modern, we don't have to abide by standard. And on top of that, we get to design the decks within their own universe, so we keep them balanced against each other. So we know that if we want to do this, convoluted combo deck using clues, like we just have to balance the deck amongst the rest of the format, and there isn't anything that's like super insanely crazy powerful that's just going to beat everything else. So we get to kind of experiment and have a little bit more fun with it without worrying about there being a bad experience for the customers.
One of our new battle decks coming out this month is REANIMANIACS, which is a 5-color reanimation deck. It has a lot of what I like to call fun-ofs. So there's a ton of big monsters to reanimate, and they're all kind of utilitarian. They all do weird things. So you theoretically dump a bunch of monsters in your yard, and then you cast a reanimation spell and choose the one that's appropriate for the situation. It's really fun, and it has a lot of crazy creatures you probably haven't seen in a while, but when you see them, you're like, oh man, that's a good card.
The other deck we have coming out this month is Firing Squad. Firing Squad is a mono-red pingers deck that utilizes the card Embermaw Hellion from Magic Origins. So this is a card that hasn't really seen play outside of Limited. I don't even think it's played in many commander decks, but it increases the damage that your red sources deal. And so all of your creatures that tap to deal a point of damage to something now deal 2 points of damage. And just very fun decks that take the stress out of coming up with an idea and building something and just let you sit down with your friends in battle.